So you've made the jump to Windows 11, and maybe you're feeling a little bit of whiplash. The familiar layout is gone, and simple tasks suddenly feel kind of clunky. If you're really missing the comfort of Windows 10, don't worry, you're in the right place. We're going to show you exactly how to turn back the clock on your desktop's design. For a lot of us, that switch to Windows 11 it was a little jarring, right? The start menu's suddenly in the middle, the menus are all different. It's just a huge shift. And if you're sitting there thinking, this just doesn't feel right anymore, then yeah, this explainer is for you. A perfect example of this friction, the right-click menu. I mean, sure, Microsoft was going for a cleaner, less cluttered look, but in reality, it just means an extra click for us. In Windows 10, you'd right-click and boom, everything was there. Now, you have to hunt down that Show More Options button for a task that used to be pure muscle memory. It's a small thing, but wow, does that frustration add up? But hey, here's the good news. You don't have to just grit your teeth and get used to it. Nope. We're going to walk through a whole series of tweaks, from some super simple settings changes to a few more advanced edits that will bring back that classic Windows 10 experience. Okay, but before we change a single pixel, hold on. We need to talk about safety, seriously. Some of these methods involve tinkering with core system settings, so a little bit of prep work is absolutely essential to make sure everything goes smoothly. So think of this as your pre-flight checklist. First, always, and I mean always, back up the registry. Second, create a system restore point. This is your big red undo button, your safety net. If anything goes sideways, you can instantly go back to how things were. And finally, just a heads up, for some of these fixes, we'll be using a tool called Start All Back. It has an incredibly generous 100-day free trial, which is more than enough time to test it out. All right, with our safety checks complete, let's tackle the biggest change first, the Start menu. That new centered position was Microsoft's attempt at something more modern, but for longtime users, let's be honest, it's probably the most debated feature in all of Windows 11. Thankfully, the easiest fix is built right into Windows. You can move that Start menu back to its rightful home in the bottom left corner with just a few clicks in the taskbar settings. This one change alone makes a huge step towards getting that classic feel back. For a more complete overhaul, though, we turn to Start All Back. After you install it, just right-click the taskbar, choose Properties, and select the Kinda 10 theme. Now, it's not a perfect match. It actually looks a little more like Windows 7, but you know what? It's far more space-efficient and functional than the default Windows 11 menu. Next up, let's talk about the taskbar itself. Unlike Windows 10, you can't just move it to the top or sides of your screen anymore. And that option to ungroup icons, well, that's a pretty recent addition that a lot of users still don't even have access to. And once again, Start All Back comes to the rescue. In its Properties menu under the Taskbar tab, you can easily change its location. And more importantly, you can set it to Never Combine Taskbar buttons. That way you can see all your open windows at a glance, just like in the good old days. So those are the straightforward fixes. But what if you want to go deeper? What if you want an even more classic look? For that, we'll need to roll up our sleeves and use a more advanced method involving something called the registry editor. The registry is basically the DNA of Windows. It's this massive database of settings. It's incredibly powerful, but making a wrong move in here can cause some real problems, which, you guessed it, is exactly why we made that backup earlier. If you're ready to proceed, here are the steps. You'll navigate to this very specific path in the registry editor, create a new value called Undocking Disabled, set it to 1, and then restart your computer. This forces Windows to use an older, classic taskbar. But, well, there's a catch. And it's a big one. Be warned, while this registry tweak looks like Windows 10, it breaks a lot of essential stuff. The search box becomes just a decoration, and the Start button won't work at all unless you have a tool like Start All Back installed to handle it. So this is really more for aesthetics than for practical daily use. All right, let's get back to fixing things that really impact your workflow. Next up, that annoying Show More Options context menu we talked about earlier. We're going to get rid of that extra click for good. This is another registry tweak, but don't worry, it's a fantastic one with no real downsides. You'll create a couple of new keys at this specific location, leave the final value blank, and then reboot. After this, a single right click will bring up the full classic context menu every single time. Beautiful. We're in the home stretch now. Let's bundle a few final tweaks together using Start All Back to restore some other beloved features from Windows 10, starting with the File Explorer. A lot of us miss the old File Explorer ribbon, which put common functions like copy, paste, and rename right at the top. In Start All Back, you simply go to the Explorer tab and select Win 10 Ribbon UI. It's that easy to bring back that quick access functionality. The same goes for the little pop-ups in the corner of your screen. If you prefer the old Windows 10 style for the calendar and volume controls, you can select this option in Start All Back's taskbar settings. Just a heads up though, the network icon is going to keep its new Windows 11 look.
So we've changed the behavior, we've changed the layout, and now it's time for the final, purely cosmetic touch to complete the whole transformation.
The last step is the simplest one. A quick search online will find you the iconic Windows 10 wallpaper. Save it, right-click, set it as your background, and the nostalgic illusion is complete. Your Windows 11 now looks and feels remarkably like its predecessor.
And that brings us to our final thought. We've shown you how to customize, tweak, and modify your system to recapture a familiar interface. But it does make you wonder, is clinging to the comfort of the old really better than adapting to the new? The choice, of course, is yours.